Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Ainal. The title of the video is He have put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him, right? And that's quoted directly from Psalm 55 and 20. It says, He have put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He have broken his covenant, right? And this is talking about the devil, Esau, Edom, right? Which he has broken many peace, treaties and agreements with the Israelites in time past, with the Roman Empire and whatnot, but also against his allies here in the current world, right? And different individuals that he had put a treaty with, and basically Russia. The Russia whole thing was for Trump not to, or for U.S. not to, continue to increase the borders of NATO, right? And put them, pretty much towards his land. And they agreed on that. But obviously they didn't listen. Verse 21 says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Why? Because Donald Trump is calling Putin for this peace treaty, knowing good and well that these devils do not want peace. This is a grand stage. The stage is set for the American people to see that we're trying to pursue peace, so they can go ahead and do that war. Because the scriptures say that he will come out and attack Russia. Basically draw Russia to the battle. This is Revelation 20:7. It says that when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle. The number of whom is as the sand of the sea. So the scriptures prophesy that Satan, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, will go, be loose from his prison sentence, go out and basically cause Gog, which is Russia, to go to war. Right. So this whole, peace, pursuing peace thing they do it's all false. And the scriptures also say that too. Or when they shall say peace and safety, it says, First Thessalonians 5:3, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Right. So, and if you look what's happening now with this thing right here, I'll go back to pursuing peace. Big bold letters. This is the grand stage. The whole world is looking at this thing to see, what's to come out of this. And meanwhile, you got the thing happening over there in Israel and Iran and all of that. So it's all a show. It's all a farce, right? It's fake. It's bullshit. And Putin don't know what the hell is going on, right? You can see. I'm gonna play the video. All he's talking about is the fact that America had a good ass relationship with Russia. They helped each other in World War II. So he doesn't know what's going on. Right. And that's why the Most High Yahweh is going to put a thought into his mind to go ahead and do what he's going to do to America, which is launch those missiles eventually. Right. In this video that I'm going to play, all he's talking about is like, yo, we were good friends. We help each other do this. I have memorials built in my land, honoring your fallen soldiers that fought, and this, that, and the third. Even I heard that when he came to America, then he left, he dropped roses, at the on the graves of some of the soldiers from the memorial for World War II over here in America, So, he's really trying, it seems, as a judge, I can see that this man clearly, don't know what the hell is going on. He was really concerned about Ukraine, though, and what was happening over there with Ukraine trying to join NATO, and also the bioweapons, the biolabs over there in Ukraine that was being built, supposedly bioweapons that only could attack Russians, some shit like that. So that's why that war really started. It kicked off over there. But ultimately, and Esau gonna come out with great wrath because he had but a short time. He's no longer in control. The Most High Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua is confounding his counsel. Things are spiraling out of control, right? He's losing power. America is through, right? A war is going on. Trade routes all fucked up. Right now is the time. Even what they keep saying, Zelensky, Benjamin Netanyahu, now is the time. You know, even when Trump got in office, he said we should do this 30 years ago. You know, when he was signing all those things. So that's how you know they rushing, right? Because they're 30 years past due. This is going into Russia, which is Gog and Magog, is going to be gathered together with a lot of people. It says, "Be thou prepared," Ezekiel 38:7. "Be thou prepared and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them." And we can see that forming now with BRICS. BRICS is a small step, and also with the other nations, you know, that are joining Russia now, Iran, you know, China, all of those people over in the Middle East. It says, "After many days thou shalt be visited, in the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them." Now, ultimately, Israel is being protected by America right now. And that's why the least of flock, which is Israel, is going to draw out America to the war, because America is the shield of Israel right now, and Israel is being inhabited by devils, Edomites, right, pretending to be the Israelites, the people that we are, right? And the Most High is going to send Putin a thought to go against them, right, against Israel, and ultimately against America, right? It says, and it just so happened that supposedly Zelensky and all of them are fake, pretending, cosplaying Israelites as well, right? Those Edomites over there in Ukraine, they're cosplaying as Edomites. I mean, no, they're Edomites. They're cosplaying as Israelites as well, right? We the people, the true Israelites, they're cosplaying to be us, all right? And while I'm at this shit, the Arab Emirates, them niggas, they cosplaying. Well, I mean, they're not trying to be Israelites. They just so happen to be small adders. You know, JW. Well, yeah, I'm confusing myself, right? They cosplaying to be Israelites. It's just so happen that they're so-called JWOs too, right? So anyway, yeah, I'm confusing myself with that. You know, those people in the land is cosplaying to be Israelite. That's why they're in that land, right? And they call themselves Jewish because they really wish they was Jews and they're not. You know, that's the point. You get what I'm saying. Ezekiel 38 and 9. "Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands, and many people with thee. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Awashai, it shall also come to pass that at the same time things shall come to thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought." So the Most High Yahweh is telling you what's up. And when you look at this dude Putin, you know, I don't see no intentions for him to pretty much attack you know, America. Pretty much everything that has happened is being according to prophecy with you know, America leading these nations to do the things that they do. Even in some podcasts and things like that, with these veterans and things, they're like, "Thank you, Trump." You know, everyone's thanking Trump because basically he's putting everybody else together and destroying America. You know, these nations are coming together. I heard India and China is making moves for the first time in like you know, years, pretty much, and they're saying it's all because of Donald Trump. You know, like, this is Job 18 and 8. It says, "For he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walketh upon a snare." Let me see. There's another one. Right here, Job. It's like Job 18 and 7. It says, "The steps of his strength shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast him down." And that's what I'm going to, right? The scripture says clearly, his own counsel. So the things that he was doing and the counsel that he has now is fucking him up, right? What he was over, whatever he was doing in Ukraine at the start of this thing, 2014, whatnot, it fucked him up. All right. And even now, the plans that Trump is doing, you know, leaving treaties, disbanding treaties, and things like that has allowed these nations to do what they do. Even Iran. Iran said the only reason why they started making the nuclear program is because they was off the treaty. They said, "Okay, well, cool, we go ahead and do what we do," and that's because America did that. It says, "The steps of his strength shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast him down. For he is cast into a net by his own feet, and walketh upon a snare." Yeah, so they did this shit themselves. And Most High Yahweh confounded the council. All right, because what? Now at the time, the last Trump is here, that Donald Trump guy. A cruel Lord. This is Isaiah 19:3. It says, "And the spirit of Egypt, which is America, shall fail in the midst of it. And I will destroy the council thereof." There's no council. The other day, the elder Pastor Hart posted a video where it's the press was like, yo, they hacking into our systems, and Trump was like, he said the Russians are hacking into our systems, and Trump was like, so yeah, that's what they do. They do a good job. That's what they do. We do it too. Whatever. Like some, that's not what you say to the people, but it says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fill in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. So the counsel is through, right? And the Egyptians will like give over into the hand of a cruel lord. That cruel lord is Donald J. Trump, right? And a fierce king shall rule over them. Say the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Awashai, the Lord of hosts. And I just seen another protest going on with this dude. They had the No Kings events and things like that. And this was right. Basically, it was like they said a day ago. The same time this man is meeting up with a meeting, basically to start what was to come, which is World War III. And that's how the people is pretty much asleep. They don't know what's going on. It's crazy. This man's sitting here, Isaiah 60 and 1. It says, arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord Yahweh Bashmiah shall risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. So the people do not know what's going on, right? They're confused. And for some reason, they don't think this thing is going to spin to war, right? And then some of them think we're just going to break out, and they missing the fact that y'all about to be chipped up, right? Martial law, a police state, and all of that stuff is happening in the middle of it. It says, but the Lord Yahweh Bashmiah shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. Right, because we know the scriptures say wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, right? So we know exactly what's going on. We walk around face lit up, right? Happy, comforted, knowing that this devil's about to go down pretty much. So pretty much that's it. That's what's happening. As you can see, this dude gonna pour his heart out about how he don't know why the hell Americans are tagging him, but it's all problems.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, our negotiations have been held in a constructive atmosphere of mutual respect. We have very thorough negotiations that were quite useful. I would like to thank once again my American counterpart for the proposal to travel out here to Alaska. It only makes sense that we've met here because our countries, though separated by the oceans, are close neighbors. So when we've met, when I came out of the plane and I've said, good afternoon, dear neighbor, very good to see you, in good health and to see you alive. I think that is very neighborly. And I think that's some kind words that we can say to each other. We're separated by the Strait of Bering, though there are 2 islands only between the Russian island and the US island. They're only 4 kilometers apart. We're close neighbors, and it's a fact. It's also important that Alaska has to do with our common heritage, common history between Russia and the US, and many positive events have to do with that territory. Still, there is tremendous cultural heritage back from the Russian America. For example, Orthodox churches and a lot of more than 700 geographical names of Russian origin. During the Second World War, it was here in Alaska that was the origin of the legendary air bridge for the supply of military aircraft and other equipment under the Lend-Lease program. There was a dangerous and treacherous route over the vast emptiness of ice. However, the pilots of both countries did everything to bring closer the victory. They risked their lives and they gave it all for the common victory. I was just in the city of Magadan in Russia, and there was a memorial there dedicated to the Russian and the US pilots. And there are 2 flags, the US flag and the Russian flag. And I know that here as well, there is such a memorial. There is a military burial place several kilometers away from here. The Soviet pilots that buried there who died during that dangerous mission. We're thankful to the citizens and the government of the US for carefully taking care of their memory. I think that's very worthy and noble. We'll always remember other historical examples when our countries defeated common enemies together in the spirit of battle camaraderie and allyship that supported each other and facilitated each other. I'm sure that this heritage will help us rebuild and foster mutually beneficial and equal ties at this new stage, even during the hardest conditions. It is known that there have been no summits between Russia and the US for 4 years, and that's a long time. This time was very hard for bilateral relations, and let's be frank, they've fallen to the lowest point since the Cold War. I think that's not benefiting our countries and the world as a whole. It is apparent that sooner or later, we had to amend the situation to move on from the confrontation to dialogue. And in this case, a personal meeting between the heads of state has been long overdue, naturally, under the condition of serious and painstaking work, and this work has been done in general. Me and President Trump have very good direct contact. We've spoken multiple times. We spoke frankly on the phone. And Special Envoy of the President, Mr. Witkoff, traveled out to Russia several times. Our advisors and heads of foreign ministries kept in touch all the time. And you know fully well that one of the central issues was the situation around Ukraine. We see the strive of the administration and President Trump personally to help facilitate the resolution of the Ukrainian conflict. And his strive to get to the crux of the matter, to understand this history, is precious. As I've said, The situation in Ukraine has to do with fundamental threats to our security. Moreover, we've always considered the Ukrainian nation, and I've said it multiple times, a brotherly nation. However strange it may sound in these conditions, we have the same roots, and everything that's happening is a tragedy for us and terrible wound. Therefore, the country is sincerely interested in putting an end to it. At the same time, we're convinced that in order to make the settlement lasting and long-term, we need to eliminate all the primary roots, the primary causes of that conflict. And we've said it multiple times, to consider all legitimate concerns of Russia and to reinstate a just balance of security in Europe.
Yeah, so you can check this out. Let me see if they got it here. Because at the end of this thing, you can see clearly that he was like, yeah, we can do this peace talk over here in Russia now. Because what big ass sign and say pursuing peace, right? Let's see what Trump says to that peace talk.
Really 5, 6, 7,000, thousands of people a week from being killed. And President Putin wants to see that as much as I do. So again, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much. And we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon. Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Next time in Moscow.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I don't know. I'll get a little heat on that one, but I can see it possibly happening. Thank you very much, Vladimir. And thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So we'll see this man go to Russia, but the scriptures say what they say. Hey, hey, we're here. First Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, their sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman which child may not escape. Right, and that's pretty much what has been happening. So shalom to the elect, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.